There's a kind of vision that changes you forever the moment you acquire it. It's not a skill you learn in school, nor a talent you can show off casually. It's the ability to see through people's masks, to read the motives behind their words, and to notice patterns invisible to the average eye. But here's the truth. This power comes at a cost, and not everyone is ready to pay it. Most people think this is just good intuition, but it's far more dangerous and far more valuable. It's a fusion of strategy, observation, and ruthless self-control. Those who master it can navigate any room, anticipate moves before they happen, and make decisions with precision that others can't match. History's sharpest minds, including Machiavelli, knew this skill could either elevate a person to unshakable authority or crush them under the weight of what they see. Because once you see the truth, you can't go back to playing the game blindly. And that's exactly when you become a threat to the comfortable illusions of others. This gift doesn't feel like a gift at first. You'll notice friends acting differently, alliances shifting, and smiles that hide quiet hostility. You'll realize that silence often speaks louder than words, and that trust should be given sparingly, guarded like treasure. I'm not here to feed you empty theories or vague self-help slogans. I'm here to show you how to turn this heightened perception into real power, influence, and unshakable self-mastery. How to use it not only to protect yourself, but to take control of the board on which everyone else is just a piece. The deeper you develop this ability, the more you'll realize it's not just about spotting lies. It's about deciding what to do with the truth. And once you learn how to channel that truth strategically, you'll hold an advantage that no one can steal. If you're ready to step into that world and see what most people miss, stay with me until the end. What you're about to learn will change not just the way you see others, but the way you move through every interaction, every negotiation, and every game of power you'll ever face. Seeing beyond appearances is not a light privilege. It's a responsibility that can reshape the way you move through life. It's like walking into a room and noticing every unspoken tension, every calculated smile, every shift in body language. This heightened awareness can be empowering, but it also separates you from those who still believe in the surface version of things. Once your eyes are open, you can't close them again. The first shock comes when you realize how few people operate from genuine respect or pure intentions. Many act out of self-interest, fear, or ambition. The ability to detect these motives before they become visible gives you a strategic advantage, but it also forces you into a new kind of isolation, one where you carry truths that most can't handle. Imagine walking into a meeting and instantly sensing who's in control, who's pretending to be, and who's completely lost. This isn't luck, it's training. It comes from studying patterns, watching micro-expressions, and noticing the rhythm of interactions. The more you sharpen this skill, the more authority and influence you naturally project. Yet seeing too much can turn into a trap if you lack self-mastery. Without control, you risk slipping into cynicism, mistrusting everyone, and becoming a prisoner of your own perception. The real power lies in knowing when to act and when to let what you see remain unspoken. Applying this ability in daily life means reading the room before you make your move. In negotiations, a slight hesitation in someone's tone can reveal insecurity. In casual conversation, a sudden pause can tell you there's more behind their words. These small cues can shape your decisions and give you an edge others won't see coming. But here's the danger. Not everyone is ready to hear what you see. Sharing it without strategy can alienate allies and arm your enemies. Sometimes the smartest play is to stay silent, letting the information ripen until it becomes the perfect weapon or shield. It's right on that edge, between perception and revelation, where the next lesson begins, mastering the ability to read the masks people wear and using them as tools in your own game of power. The world is a stage, and everyone wears a mask. Some do it to protect themselves, others to manipulate, and a few to lead. If you want to move with power and authority, you must learn to read these masks, not to judge them, but to understand the script that drives people's behavior. Once you see past the performance, you gain control over the scene. Silent reading is the art of catching what most miss. It's noticing how someone's lips tighten before answering, how their eyes dart toward an exit, or how their voice shifts when certain topics come up. These microsignals reveal more than any confession and become the foundation for precise, calculated strategy. Respect is earned when you can hold what you've learned without flaunting it. A leader who knows when to stay quiet and when to act builds an aura of mystery, making themselves unpredictable. And unpredictability is one of the most powerful tools on any board of power. You can train this skill anywhere. Sit in a cafe and watch interactions. Who dominates the conversation? Who nods without conviction? Who stays silent but observant? Over time, you'll notice patterns that most overlook, and this awareness will sharpen your influence and self-control. Machiavelli understood that masks aren't always a threat. Sometimes they're tools. Wearing a strategic mask isn't lying. It's protecting your position and shaping how others perceive you. The real mistake is failing to recognize when someone's mask is meant to steer you where they want you to go. Emotional discipline is critical here. Discovering someone's deception can trigger frustration or even anger, but reacting openly only weakens you. True influence comes when you recognize the game, smile, and keep playing without revealing that you've already seen the cards. Once you master silent reading, the next step is even more dangerous. Learning how to turn the truths you uncover into a weapon that solidifies your position without exposing yourself to unnecessary risk. Truth, on its own, doesn't topple empires or build thrones. In the wrong hands, it can even be useless or dangerous. Machiavelli knew that truth is like a finely honed blade. Its value lies in how, when, and where it's used. Deploy it recklessly, and you not only dull its edge, you might also wound yourself in the process. Many confuse honesty with effectiveness. They think blurting out what they know the moment they learn it is a sign of integrity. In reality, it's often a sign of naivety. Respect and authority grow when truth is revealed at the exact moment it will have maximum impact, serving your goals instead of merely releasing pressure. Self-mastery is what allows you to hold back. Keeping a truth to yourself, even when it burns in your mind, takes discipline. Before revealing it, you must ask, does this strengthen my position or weaken it? Will it increase my influence or will it give power to someone else? A strategist speaks to move pieces, not to soothe emotions. Sometimes the smartest move is to hold the truth until your opponent is most vulnerable. A flaw in their argument, a gap in their defenses, revealed at the right time, can turn the tide entirely in your favor. Like in chess, you don't strike the king at the first chance. You build the board to guarantee checkmate. There's also the tactic of fragmenting the truth. You don't always need to give the whole picture at once. Dripping information in measured doses can keep others off balance, forcing them to move within the boundaries you set. This creates tension, curiosity, and dependency on your guidance. But wielding truth only to harm will breed powerful enemies. Machiavelli taught that lasting power is built not just through victories, but through alliances. Truth, when used well, should reinforce your leadership and create loyalty, not just fear. And this leads to a hidden danger, confusing strategy with unfiltered honesty. Overexposing what you know can be as deadly to you as it is to your rivals, which is why we now step into the territory of uncontrolled sincerity. Absolute sincerity may be celebrated in casual conversation, but in the realm of power, it can be fatal. Speaking every thought at any moment is like handing your opponent the blueprint to your mind. Machiavelli understood that the strongest leaders reveal only what serves their strategy, keeping the rest locked away like a fortress. The problem with uncontrolled sincerity is that it's driven by impulse, not by calculation. People speak out to relieve emotional pressure, but in doing so, they often expose their vulnerabilities. Every detail you reveal gives someone else an opening, and in the wrong hands, that opening becomes a weapon against you. We've all seen this mistake play out. A manager who publicly scolds their team may be right in principle, but they create resentment that undermines their authority. A negotiator who reveals all their terms too soon eliminates their leverage. Honesty without timing is not a virtue, it's a liability. Self-control is the antidote. Before speaking, ask yourself, does this comment enhance my influence or diminish it? Strategic philosophy teaches that some truths should be spoken in private, others hinted at, and some should never be voiced at all. Silence, in the right moment, can carry more power than the loudest speech. A useful exercise is to practice the pause. When provoked, breathe, observe, and delay your response. Those few seconds can transform an emotional reaction into a calculated move, one that preserves your authority instead of eroding it. Real respect comes when others realize you don't speak out of impulse. They see that your words are measured, your timing deliberate, and your statements rare enough to matter. This creates an aura of authority and unpredictability, a dangerous combination for anyone who might challenge you. But even with control, there's a deeper challenge. Dealing with truths so uncomfortable that carrying them feels like a burden. In those moments, your ability to master not just your words, but your emotional state becomes the deciding factor. And that leads us to the next lesson: emotional dominance. In the arena of power, the one who controls their emotions controls the tempo of the game. Machiavelli knew that a leader who maintains a calm, steady presence while chaos swirls around them sends a message stronger than any speech. I am unshakable. Emotional dominance isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about directing them so they work in your favor. Respect grows when people realize you can't be easily rattled. In heated debates or tense negotiations, your composure acts as a shield, preventing others from steering you off course. While they waste energy reacting emotionally, you conserve yours for decisive, calculated action. This kind of control doesn't appear overnight. It's the result of deliberate training, whether through deep breathing techniques, meditation, or even disciplines like martial arts that teach patience and self-possession under pressure. These tools allow you to convert fear into heightened awareness and anger into focused determination. In practice, emotional dominance is about responding, not reacting. If someone tries to provoke you, a measured smile or a subtle change of subject can dismantle their attempt without escalating the situation. Such maneuvers not only protect your position, but also reinforce the perception that you are always in command. Part of mastering this skill is knowing your triggers. When you identify the situations or comments that typically unsettle you, you can prepare responses in advance. This turns your weaknesses into rehearsed strengths, catching adversaries off guard. On a deeper level, emotional dominance is a form of mental armor. It shields you from internal corrosion, the stress, doubt, and frustration that can slowly weaken even the most capable leaders. By keeping your center intact, you ensure that your strategy remains clear and your influence consistent. And once you achieve this level of control, you realize not everyone deserves access to what you perceive. In fact, limiting that access becomes the foundation for the next strategic layer, the inner circle of those who see as much as you do. Not everyone is equipped to handle the burden of seeing what others can't. Machiavelli would argue that this kind of perception, if shared carelessly, can become a weapon turned against its owner. That's why the most perceptive individuals form an inner circle. a small, carefully chosen group, bound by trust, loyalty, and the discipline to keep what they know guarded. In this circle, respect isn't bought or given freely. It's earned. Authority here comes from the ability to protect sensitive information and act on it with precision. Sharing the wrong insight with the wrong person is like giving away the keys to your fortress and hoping they won't use them. Imagine a strategist who spots an approaching crisis before anyone else. Instead of alerting the masses, they confide in one or two trusted allies, developing a plan in secret. This isn't exclusion, it's preservation. By controlling who knows what, you preserve the value of the information and prevent premature exposure. Influence within the inner circle grows through exchange, not generosity. You share what's valuable only with those who offer something equally significant in return. In this environment, information becomes currency, and every trade must be worth the risk. It also requires emotional maturity. Being surrounded by people who see as clearly as you do can challenge your ego. Humility is essential to maintain cohesion. Here, the collective goal outweighs any personal pride. On a deeper level, choosing who enters this circle is a spiritual act. These are the guardians of your path, the ones who can either elevate you or destroy you. As Machiavelli warned, trust is built slowly, but can be lost in an instant. And when you truly understand the value of this select group, you discover an even greater weapon: absolute silence, which can protect your advantage even from the most perceptive eyes. In a world where everyone rushes to speak, silence becomes a rare and powerful act. Machiavelli knew that, in many cases, keeping quiet is not weakness, but calculated strength. Strategic silence unsettles people, forcing them to fill the void with their own words. And in doing so, they often reveal far more than they intended. The respect earned from well-timed silence comes from its discipline. While others scramble to explain, defend, or justify, you simply observe. This restraint gives you a full view of the playing field before making your move. Those who can't read you will hesitate, and hesitation is a weapon in itself. Picture a high-stakes meeting where everyone is arguing for their position. You sit back, listening intently, noting every inconsistency and emotional slip. When you finally speak, your words land with precision, shaped by the mistakes others made in their rush to talk. Silence can also neutralize attacks. When provoked or accused, responding immediately ties you to the aggressor's emotional pace. By staying silent, you create discomfort, making them question themselves and sometimes overexpose their intentions. That's the kind of self-control that turns situations in your favor. There's also an energy-preserving aspect to silence. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every rumor is worth addressing. By choosing your engagements carefully, you conserve strength for moments when your voice will have maximum impact. On a personal level, silence creates space for inner clarity. It lets you hear your own judgment without interference, aligning your decisions with your long-term vision and leadership principles. And once you embrace silence as a natural part of your arsenal, you're ready for the next step, training your mind to process what others overlook and transforming that insight into undeniable, tangible power. Thinking like Machiavelli isn't about memorizing clever quotes. It's about conditioning your mind to detect patterns, anticipate moves, and act with precision. It's the ability to step back, see the entire board, and understand how each piece is likely to move before anyone else does. This kind of thinking turns luck into a non-factor. Respect is built when others realize your decisions are never random. This demands mental discipline, weighing causes and effects, calculating risks, and always keeping multiple paths open. A strategist never bets everything on a single plan. They have contingencies ready, each crafted to serve their endgame. One powerful exercise is scenario mapping. Before entering a negotiation or high-stakes conversation, visualize all possible responses from others and plan your reactions in advance. Leaders, military tacticians, and master negotiators use this method to keep control no matter what unfolds. Training also means sharpening your perception. Study human behavior in different environments, read about historical conflicts, analyze speeches and gestures. The more data you absorb, the more accurate your reading of people becomes, and the more influence you can exert without them realizing it. Emotional control is integral to this training. A brilliant mind is useless if it's easily provoked. Patience, calm under pressure, and the ability to pause before reacting are habits that protect your authority and sharpen your strategic edge. On a deeper level, this is a journey inward. You must confront your own weaknesses, biases, and desires, then turn them into assets. Machiavelli didn't admire perfection. He valued leaders who could use every part of themselves, strengths and flaws alike, as tools in their arsenal. And once you master this mental discipline, the next challenge emerges: converting perception into a visible, commanding authority that others cannot ignore. Perception without action is like treasure buried in the ground, valuable but useless. The real power comes when you transform what you see into influence others can feel. Machiavelli knew that knowing the truth means little unless you can use it to shape outcomes, secure loyalty, and establish a presence that demands respect. Authority is built through decisive, strategic action at the right moment. Spotting a flaw in a plan isn't enough. You must present a solution that solves the problem and positions you as indispensable. This transforms you from a silent observer into the natural leader people look to in times of uncertainty. Self-mastery is crucial here. When you act with calm and purpose, you project stability, which attracts followers and allies. People gravitate toward those who appear unshaken, especially when the ground under them feels unstable. That perception of strength often matters as much as the strength itself. To solidify your leadership, use your insight to create tangible value. Anticipate crises before they erupt, shield key allies from threats, and seize opportunities before anyone else notices them. This is the Machiavellian way, always a step ahead, never revealing how you got there. Personal and emotional development are equally important. When your actions consistently benefit the group, you inspire loyalty that goes beyond obligation. You're not just respected for what you know, but trusted for how you use it. On a deeper level, converting perception into authority means embodying the principles you preach. Your actions become a living example of your philosophy, and that authenticity makes your power harder to challenge. And once you have the ability to turn insight into influence, the final test arrives. Knowing what to reveal, what to conceal, and how to guard your knowledge so it remains your most valuable weapon. The highest level of power isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing what to keep to yourself. Machiavelli understood that information is a double-edged sword. In the hands of a disciplined mind, it becomes a tool for influence. In careless hands, it becomes a liability. Controlling what you know is as much about self-preservation as it is about strategy. Respect grows when others suspect you know more than you reveal. That uncertainty makes you harder to read, and what can't be predicted is difficult to attack. By holding back certain truths, you protect your position and keep your opponents guessing. Imagine uncovering a rival's critical weakness. The temptation to expose it immediately can be strong. But the true strategist waits, allowing the situation to mature, then uses the revelation at a moment when it will deliver maximum advantage, whether that's to dismantle an enemy or solidify an alliance. Self-control is essential here. Many people ruin their advantage by bragging about what they know. Patience and restraint, though less glamorous, are far more dangerous in the long run. They allow you to move unseen until the moment you choose to strike. Emotional intelligence also plays a role. Controlling what you know doesn't mean isolating yourself completely. It means selectively sharing with those who have proven their loyalty and usefulness. Every disclosure should be intentional, measured, and purposeful. On a deeper level, guarding your knowledge fortifies your inner world. By shielding your mind from manipulation and outside interference, you maintain control over your strategy, your resources, and your destiny. And with that, the cycle is complete. Perceive, interpret, act strategically, and preserve. Done well, this process doesn't just maintain your influence. It multiplies it, while everyone else is still trying to figure out how you always stay one move ahead. Now that you've seen how perception, when sharpened and guided by strategy, can become a silent but unstoppable weapon, the question is, what will you do with it? Will you continue reacting as before, letting others dictate the pace? Or will you start moving like the strategist you were meant to be? Power doesn't wait. It belongs to those who act with precision and patience. Think back to moments in your life when these principles could have changed the outcome. How many alliances could you have built? How many mistakes could you have avoided? How many opportunities slipped past simply because you didn't see or didn't act in time? The time to apply this knowledge is now. You don't need grand stages to begin. Practice in small, everyday situations. Observe without rushing. Speak less, but make every word land with purpose. Guard information until the moment it will have the greatest impact. And I want to know, which of these strategies speaks to you the most right now? Your answer might spark insight for someone else who's just starting to see the game for what it truly is. If this message has shifted the way you think, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next step in mastering respect, power, and authority. Don't stop here. There's a companion video on your screen and in the description that will take you even deeper into refining your perception and turning it into undeniable influence. Watch it next, because the sooner you apply these tools, the sooner you start playing the game on your terms. The board is in front of you. Now decide whether you'll keep following someone else's moves or start making your own.